10 good fall scents from the brand of Paris Corner. Let's see them. Hello friends, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today I'm going to be talking about good fall time scents from the brand of Paris Corner. I did a similar video last week where I covered such fragrances from the brand of Fragrance World, and this week it's the turn of Paris Corner. And I'm going to keep on with this theme in the upcoming few weeks where I'm going to cover Lattafa as well, French Avenue and maybe some other brands. But let's keep going with the brand of Paris Corner. Now the first two scents that I'm going to show you both come from the Rifacat line, and I'm going to start with the original Rifacat, which is simply called Rifacat. It comes in this 85 milliliter bottle size, and this fragrance is very heavily inspired by YSL Baby Cat. Very similar to the original scent, a scent that relies very heavily on a dark, very sweet vanilla scent. You got some supporting players as well, you got some incense, you got some spices, you got a bit of leather in here as well, suede leather, but all around it's all about the scent of vanilla with Rifacat. Again, inspired by Baby Cat, which is a very nice fragrance but tends to be quite expensive, and Rifacat actually can serve as a great alternative to the original one. It costs somewhere between 20 to 30 euros here in Europe, making it just a fraction of the price of the original. It's a perfectly unisex scent. Has quite a strong performance, and all around it's been one of the better releases from the brand of Paris Corner. The second fragrance that I'm going to show you today, again part of the Rifacat line and the newer flanker to the Rifacat line, is called Rifacat Adorn. Comes in a very similar bottle than compared to the original fragrance, but this one is something entirely different scent-wise. It's still a YSL inspiration, a YSL clone, but in this case it's YSL Tuxedo, and it's one of the newest Tuxedo clones on the markets. Again, very similar to the original fragrance, although in this case, first of all, you get a pressurized atomizer with Adorn, but this feels like a slight twist compared to the original scent. You still get pretty much the same scent profile that relies on a lot of spices, some woods, you get a rose note, you got a strong patchouli note, you get some vanillic sweetness, but in here I pick up a sort of an agar oud note, which is, to my nose, is used as a top note. Unlike the original fragrance, and this feels a little bit more woody all around compared to to the original Tuxedo. But in the air actually smells quite similar, but this again feels more like an inspiration rather than a straight up clone. It has good performance, especially the projection in the first about hour and a half. This actually is quite a strong projecting fragrance, probably down to that agar oud note that's being used as a top note. Quality is good, performance is good, but I would say that this one is one of those scents that definitely should try before you actually buy. Don't commit to a full bottle purchase because of that interesting opening that it has. The next three fragrances that I'm going to show you, all of them come from the Chuto line, and I'm going to start with the newest member of the Chuto line, which is called Chuto Regal Reserve. And this has been inspired by Amouage Royal Tobacco, but again, just like Rifacat Adorn, don't take this as a straight up clone, think of this one more like an inspiration, and in this case like a distant inspiration. Sprayer is not as good as the one that you get with Rifacat Adorn. Now, Chuto Regal Reserve carries some similarities to Royal Tobacco, but it's not as strong as Royal Tobacco, and doesn't have as strong tobacco note as the original fragrance has. In fact, I was quite surprised. I was caught a bit off guard by the lack of the tobacco note in here. There is a tobacco note, but it's not as strong as the original. This feels like a slightly fresher, maybe slightly sweeter take on Royal Tobacco. It's quite a complex scent, got quite a bit going on in here. There's some, some woods, you get some spices, there's a bit of greenness in here, some sweetness, a hint of tobacco. All around a very interesting scent. Again, I think this is not safe for blind buying. You definitely should try this one before you buy it. Performance is quite decent, of course not as strong. The original is an absolute beast. This is more on the above average when it comes to performance. It has decent projection as well. Quality is not bad at all, but again, just try this one first before you buy it. Continuing on with the Chuto fragrances, the next one is called Mysterious Tobacco, and this one is heavily inspired by mystery tobacco from Carolina Herrera. And this is one of those clones that actually get quite close to the original fragrance. Again, feels a little bit different. This lacks a bit of the sweetness of the original scent, but it's a tobacco-based fragrance, sweet tobacco-based fragrance that has quite a bit of spices and also feels kind of boozy. In fact, quite a strong boozy note. I pick up a stronger boozy note in here compared to the original scent. That DNA I absolutely love. This also is somewhat similar to Mancero's red tobacco, but the original fragrances are also close to each other, so it makes sense that Chuto mysterious tobacco actually smells similar to red tobacco as well. All around, it's quite a good fragrance that has very decent quality, has quite good performance, quite good projection. All around, it's one of the better fragrances from the brand of Paris Corner. And the last fragrance from the Chuto line that I'm going to include in today's video is called Tobacco Vanille, and you can probably guess what this is cloning. This is a clone of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, and it's a very interesting take on the Tobacco Vanille DNA. Again, it feels a little bit like a twist, not a straight up clone. It's very similar in the fact that it carries pretty much the same notes. You got the tobacco note, you got some honey, you got some cinnamon, you got some vanilla, you got some ouds, just like the original fragrance. But this in here, the tobacco note feels a little bit stronger, feels a little bit rougher, but not in a bad way, just like a slightly more masculine take on the tobacco vanille, or the tobacco in tobacco vanille from Tom Ford. And also this, especially after sitting around, I've noticed lately that this has become sweeter and sweeter with time, and nowadays I pick up quite a strong honey note in this fragrance as well. It's an interesting take on tobacco vanille's DNA. It's an interesting alternative, can serve as a great alternative in my opinion. Has very good performance, very good projection, carries a very affordable price, has good quality, and this is also one of those scents that can serve as a great layering combination. Moving on to something else that has a tobacco note in it, and it's a fragrance that's been very heavily inspired, a very good clone of a discontinued gem from the brand of Paco Rabanne. The original fragrance is called 1MilanoPriv, and the clone from Paris Corner is called MilanoPriv. And the fall time is the best time to wear this fragrance. Now, the original was a very unique member of the 1 million line. Something that smelled very different to anything else in the 1 million line, but unfortunately has been discontinued. And nowadays, if you want a bottle of 1MilanoPriv, you have to pay through your nose for such a thing. So luckily enough, we have a MilanoPriv from Paris Corner. Very similar to the original fragrance. Again, a sweet tobacco-based fragrance that feels different to the other tobacco scents that I already showed you here. And it's scent-wise very close to the original fragrance. Has a very good performance and projection, feels almost perfectly unisex because of the amount of sweetness that it has, and all around is again a great alternative to something that's been discontinued. Very affordable price, all around a great fragrance from the brand of Paris Corner. The next one that I'm going to show you is called Veteran Oud, and this one is heavily inspired by Armani's Stronger With You Oud. And probably out of all clones of Stronger With You Oud that I have in my collection, this is probably my most favorite one. Has a very good, very decent atomizer, and scent-wise is very similar to the original fragrance. It carries that very sweet scent profile that the Stronger With You line is known for, that is heavy on the vanillic and ambery sweetness, with some lavender, some other warmth. Also, this one, just like the original, has a agar oud note, which is used in a very nice way. The quality of the agar oud note in here, or at least the way that it's been blended into the scent itself, is really nice. Very similar to the original fragrance, very designer level agar oud fragrance that has a superb smell, at least for me. Quality is good, performance is good, all around a very good take on the Stronger With You Oud DNA. My next suggestion for a full-time scent from the brand of Paris Corner is part of the autobiography line, and it's called Supreme Gold, and this fragrance is a clone of Parfum de Marly's Herod, and it's again done quite nicely. Herod is another tobacco-based fragrance, and Supreme Gold feels very similar to the original fragrance. You get the tobacco leaf, you get the vanillic sweetness, maybe there's a hint of some fruity sweetness in here, there's a bit of incense, you get some spices, some ouds on the dry down. Very nicely done, very nicely blended with a very good quality. Performance-wise, similar to the original fragrance, maybe slightly less performing. Also, it's one of those scents that doesn't project very loudly, just like the original fragrance. But other than that, the quality here is very, very good. Another Parfum de Marly's clone that I'm going to include in today's video is a part of the Nordstock line, and it's called Dew. And this fragrance is a clone of Parfum de Marly's Layton. And I've said this quite a few times lately, but for me Dew is one of the, if not the most underrated clone of Layton currently. It's a very, very nice fragrance that's very similar to Layton, has a few minor differences. This feels a little bit more spicy, a little bit more green compared to Layton itself. In the opening, lacks a bit of the sweetness of Layton, but on the dry down actually becomes very, very close to Layton itself. The quality here is superb on the scent. The performance is superb, well above average with quite strong performance, comes really luxuriously packaged, and again, all around probably the most underrated clone of Layton currently. And especially after some maceration, this fragrance has become a really beautiful creation. And my last suggestion in today's video for a great full-time scent from the brand of Paris Corner is called Camaro Homme Intense. And this is a fantastic clone of Dior Homme Intense. I absolutely love the original fragrance, and I've really been liking Camaro Homme Intense. This is the latest Dior Homme Intense clone that I got in my collection. I had to chase this one for quite a while, but I was super impressed with the end result. Very similar to the original fragrance, carrying that musky, woody scent that has a bit of pure sweetness, that has some iris powderness. You get some vanillic and cacao sweetness as well. It's really nicely done, but this one has a sort of a leather note in here as well, which makes it somewhat similar to Dior Homme Parfum as well, which is an absolute masterpiece. It stands somewhere in between Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme Parfum. Some people claim that this carries the original formulation of Dior Homme Intense back from 2007 or whatever was the release year of Dior Homme Intense. I cannot confirm that because I've not tried the original formulation, but this definitely feels a little bit different than the current formulations of Dior Homme Intense. Slightly darker and slightly leathery. All around a fantastic scent from the brand of Paris Corner. Superb performance, superb projection, and this currently is my most favorite clone of Dior Homme Intense, and so it's my last suggestion for a great full-time scent in today's video. So guys, there they are, 10 very good full-time fragrances from the brand of Paris Corner. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.